Last year, the movie Knives Out came out, and it was a masterpiece. Wonderful movie. It was a great return to the whodunit genre. And if you don't know what a whodunit movie is, it's basically where a crime happens and everyone's like, "Oh my God, who done it?" and a movie that does this genre even better than Knives Out is a movie called Clue 1985. This movie was a masterpiece, and I know that most of y'all have not watched this movie because I did a poll on my Twitter at ThoughtyThoughts, and all three people that replied said they haven't watched the movie. So today we're just gonna do a little rant about why this movie is such a masterpiece. I just want to start off by saying that this movie had three different endings. Yes, you heard that right, three different endings. It's crazy. This is the equivalent of having a really fun night and like you black out and all your friends are like, "Oh my God, dude, you were so crazy last night." And you're like, "Wait, what do you mean? I thought I just blacked out." And they're like, "No, what actually happened was you got bit by a shark." That's what one of them says. And then the other person's like, "Oh my God, bro, I'm sorry. Your mom died last night." And then the last person says, "That's not what happened at all. I actually slept with your girlfriend." And then you're very confused. And you're like, "Damn, this is crazy." And that's probably why this movie got super low ratings when it came out. This movie is so good, but it was so revolutionary that no one wanted to give it good ratings, you know? And as mad as that makes me, let's not focus on that. And let's just talk about the plot of the movie because it's good. The movie begins with all the characters meeting up at a super spooky, ominous house. And these are the characters in the movie: Wadsworth the butler, Yvette the maid, Professor Plum, Mrs. Peacock, Colonel Mustard, Miss Scarlet, Mrs. White, and Mr. Green. It is revealed to us in their little dinner talk that all of them have somewhat important jobs in government. Professor Plum is a doctor, Mrs. Peacock is the wife of a politician, Colonel Mustard is a colonel, and so on and so forth. It is revealed that all of them are gathered here together because they're being blackmailed by Mr. Body, who is one of the weirdest guys I've ever seen in my life. Like, they casted the perfect guy because he looks hella shady. I don't know. I feel like it's just something about his eyes. Anyways, after that is revealed, Mr. Body just brings out a bunch of weapons and is like, "Hey, if one of you kills the butler, I'll let you go and like all of this won't matter." But what happens instead is the light goes out and Mr. Body gets killed. And it's set up from this point that everyone has a motive to kill this guy. So the point of the movie is figuring out who done it. After Mr. Body is killed, it's revealed what each person is being blackmailed for. Professor Plum slept with one of his psychiatric patients. Mrs. Peacock has been taking bribes for her husband to get elected into state. Miss Scarlet owns a prostitution ring. Colonel Mustard has had sex with some of the prostitutes in that ring. And Mr. Green is gay. And that wasn't okay back in the day, but I hope you remember this detail because it's pretty important for one of the endings, but we'll get to that later. And finally, the butler had a wife who was friends with socialists, which is something that they make fun of throughout the movie, and communism. Anyways, I hope that sparked your interest for the movie because I'm not going to be going into a lot more detail because I don't want to spoil the movie completely for y'all, but I'll let you know that a cop is killed, a random person is killed, a telegram person is killed, the maid is killed, the cook is killed, and Mr. Body gets killed twice because he actually wasn't killed the first time. But besides that and all the plot, I want to talk about another thing about this movie that's great, which is the humor. This movie has great humor for I feel like today because there's a lot of awkward moments in the movie that kind of feel like they're not supposed to be funny, but it's hilarious. Like these moments.
So much it flames on the side of my face, breathing, heaving breaths, heaving.
But while we were in the billiard, anybody else want a whiskey?
Yeah.
All right, look.
I bet some of you right now are laughing at those moments. So if not for the plot, just go watch this movie for the comedy. But I do want to talk about the endings of the movies just because I feel like those are the best parts. And if you don't want to get spoiled because you want to watch it yourself, I suggest skipping to this timestamp. Alright, now if you skip to the video, let's talk about the three different endings. So the first ending is like the serious ending in which Miss Scarlet killed everyone and she's like a major blackmailer and just kind of gets details on everyone. And then she tries to kill the butler at the end, but luckily the police come just in time. And this one is like, it's an okay ending. The second ending is the weirdest one out of all of them, where the old lady, Mrs. Peacock, did it. And when they bust her at the end, they start singing She's a Jolly Good Fellow, like really ominously. And a Jehovah's Witness that shows up like right at the end of the movie, like catches her because he turns out to be working with the FBI or whatever. Um, that's also an ending. And then the last ending, which is supposedly like the true ending, like that's what it says before it shows, is where everyone in the house has killed someone except for Mr. Green. And it's also revealed that the butler is actually Mr. Body, and the Mr. Body that we saw was the butler's butler. Yeah, it's a switcheroo. And then Mr. Green kills the butler and says like, I killed the butler in the dining room with a revolver, which is a nod to the game, which is what this movie is kind of based on. And then the Jehovah Witness, like the last ending, comes and he's like, oh yeah, I'm working with the FBI or whatever. And it's revealed that Mr. Green is also an FBI agent. And he ends off the movie by saying, all right, I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife. So yes, he wasn't gay in the end. How it's pretty cool ending. And it was just it was a good ending. All right, this is my favorite ending. That's the one I choose. That I like. Yeah, this is a good ending. Anyways, I hope y'all will go watch this movie either on Amazon Prime because that's where I watched it, or if you don't want to support Jeff Bezos, that billionaire, whatever he is, you could pirate it, which it's I wouldn't say you should do that, but if you happen to, just say that I didn't lead you in that direction. I hope you really enjoyed this video. You should like, subscribe, and comment. And also put post notifications on because who knows when I'll post another video. Because I took a really long time to make this video, but not the other videos. Also, follow me on Twitter at ThoughtyThoughts, where sometimes I post stuff about making the videos and also how I have eczema and how I hate it a lot. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you had a good time.